Hello, Cats and Kittens, Orewa Jose, Yoroshiku, and welcome back to the Manga Corner. We're here for my review of One Piece Chapter 1025, Twin Dragons. This chapter, I think, is part of the setup to what I believe is going to be a horrendously tragic backstory of Kaido. And it really plays out in the battle between Kaido and Yamato. We'll get into that in a second. The lead into that is a very brief lead in because we only get a quick shot of Luffy attempting to get Momonosuke to man up and actually fly. And I'm not going to say man up in a negative sense like Momo's, he is what he is. He's been aged up to 28, excuse me, but he's still a kid. And he's still a kid who's traumatized by heights. So that's not going to change just because he's gotten older and bigger. It also adds the question to me that him being not just able to fly, but possessing that, does his being aged up, is that going to afford him the ability to use any of the techniques or offensive techniques that we know that Kaido has at his disposal, since his artificial devil fruit is based on Kaido's DNA? So he should be able to do stuff like borrow breath, blah, 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 stuff like that. But he doesn't have the experience in using those techniques. So is his being aged up going to translate to his being any more useful in battle against Kaido? I would say no, for the most part. Maybe, I don't think so. That's all I'm saying, because we can count out King's Hockey in any appreciable amount, even if I can't even say he's going to unlock it. I'm just saying that if I had to guess, he's not going to be of a great deal of usage in battle, just because he doesn't have any practical use of any of the abilities that we see that Kaido has. That's my guess. Now, if he does, if he pulls something out of his butt, from left field or whatever, that's fine. We'll see. But my guess would be no, off the top. All right. So that being said, Luffy's trying to get him to fly, and he's trying. He's a try hard dude. I'm for Yamato. I like the kid, but it's difficult for him. And it's interesting, in the two shots that we see of Shinobu, she doesn't say anything, but she has this look on her face. I couldn't even say it's concern. There's some knowing look on her face, but she never says a word. That's an interesting choice from Oda. I don't know where he was going with that, but that's fine. Now we get to the battle. Yamato is still putting in work against Kaido. She's putting in appreciable work. She's lasted a good long time trying to hold this guy off. But again, I would have to say that Kaido is not trying to kill Yamato. If he was, I think she'd be dead by now. I don't think he's going 100%. In fact, I'm pretty sure, as we see from the conversation that they're having, he is trying to break her. He's trying to get her to, submit and eventually be the shogun or whatever it is that he wants her to be alongside of him in ruling over Wano. Now, primarily, Kaido is trying to impose a view on her that it seems to me is based on his experiences. We still don't know what Kaido is. And I mean that literally in the sense of, as far as I know, what is his race? He's known as the strongest creature alive, for a reason, but creature what? He's not human. He's not fishman. He's an ogre of some sort. He's a Oni or something. So it's my impression that he comes from a race, because he says to her, and she's trying to, stand up and be Odin, basically, be that champion that Odin was. And he's saying that she can't do that because the samurai will never count her as an ally because of her bloodline. Okay, bloodline of what? He says, but you cannot escape your bloodline. You are still the son of Kaido, whatever that means. What is Kaido? Again, what is his race? He said, do you really think any of the samurai here will see you as a comrade, regardless of what cause you choose to bear on your shoulders? So he's saying, then you're not like them. You know, I mean, the guy got horns, you know what I'm saying? And that's not because he ate the devil fruit. When he's in base form, he has horns. What's that about? So he's some kind of a creature. Yeah, I mean, he's a creature, obviously. It's got to do with his, he when he's saying these things to Yamato, I think he's speaking from his experience and trying to convince her that, you know, all of this nonsense that Odin put into your head, that's specific to Odin because he was human and he was doing what humans do. And, you know, the samurai, they were comrades, all that stuff. That doesn't apply to you because it doesn't apply to me. And it doesn't apply to us, our race. He has some kind of a tragic upbringing, similar to the fishmen or something, where they were either some kind of oppressed or looked down on or, you know, feared to the point where they can't interact with society. Now, it's weird to say that because we've never seen more of his race that we know of. And if there was such a race, you figure they would have said something about it, or it would have been hinted at in the book by now. But maybe it's all leading up to this point. Anyway, Yamato rejects his notion that, you know, you can't be comrades with the samurai because she's like, she's had friends. You know, I've had friends before, basically, is what she's telling Kaido. And Kaido's like, yeah. And they're all dead, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he's seen to their deaths himself. She flashes back to people like Ace and somebody off screen that gave her food and a blanket when she was, you know, destitute or whatever, running from Kaido's forces or whatever. And man was put to death. All right. So she rejects the notion because she says she has friends. And his point is, yeah, they're all dead. Friendship is a sham, he says. It's all for show. Deep down, they fear you. Us is what he's saying. They fear whatever we are. He must have had a cause to believe that friendship was a sham because he was betrayed at some point. I guess he's projecting, and yeah, it's headcanon, but it's whatever. So he's projecting that friendship is a sham and it's all for a show. You must rule others with strength. You are a child of ogres, so they're ogres. You are not meant to be friends with humans. So that's all this is about. It's coming down. We're going to get his backstory and the backstory of the ogres, wherever they live. Is he the last of them? They might have been hunted to extinction, and he's maybe the last one left. And he's trying to tell her that this is how we have to live because of whatever. Now, we've seen fishermen, we've seen giants, we've seen all kinds of different species. It could be that Kaido is the last of his kind because we've not seen anyone else like him. They've not hinted at whatever it is, you know, that he is, but that's got to be the case. And I mean, that last panel, I can't tell which page this is, 6 or 7, whatever, where he says, "This is your fate, Yamato." He's up in his feelings, and he's charging up his, you know, club with that, it's either enhanced armament or conquerors, whatever, which apparently they're both able to do. I mean, whatever. But the thing is, he's enraged. And I think he's enraged by the fact that she's fallen into the notion that ogres and humans can live together in peace. And it seems to me that's where this is coming to. And I can't wait to see his backstory. It's got to be out off the hook. And it's got to be tragic. It's got to be pretty bad. Then we get back to Momonosuke finally getting airborne, but at the same time, this is kind of like a comedy relief break. in a sense. Well, it's yeah. Let's just say it's a comedy relief break. Momo's in the air. He's doing good. He's flying fast, but he's got his eyes closed. And it's pretty comedic a moment because Luffy first is praising him for flying until he realizes that he's doing this with his eyes closed, and interrupting all of these undercards that we can't wait to see. Zoro, King, Sanji, Queen, various undercards. They're assuming that it's Kaido, but Big Mom even assumes that it's Kaido for a second. But some realize that it's not because the color scheme is different. That goes on for a little bit, and it's cool. I mean, it's a cool little break in the action until Momonosuke finally gets to the roof, where Yamato is going in for another attack. Again, she's hot. She's imbuing her club with that's got to be advanced conquerors, which raises an interesting point in terms of her powers. If you want to power scale her to on the monster trio, I still say Luffy. That's interesting. Well, if she's able to do this and she's already mastered conquerors and advanced conquerors, Luffy's just come to it. So who's done the most damage to Kaido? She's lasted the longest, I guess, in single combat. But again, he's not trying to kill her. He was trying to kill Luffy. I'm pretty because he wasn't trying to turn Luffy. His MO is to break people and make them subordinates. He knows that Luffy is not going to be a subordinate. He knows that Kid, Luffy, Zoro, and them will not succumb. So if he was fighting them one-on-one, they'd be going for the kill. He doesn't want to kill her, I think maybe she's the last of that kind and he can't afford to kill her. Possibly. That's a guess, though. That's headcanon, whatever. So anyway, but power scaling her, I'll get to that later. She goes in for her attack. Luffy and Momo arrive at the same time. And so he does the Jet Culverin Snake Man attack at the same time when she hits with White Serpent, two snake attacks, which is interesting. Culverin is not a power attack, so this is not meant to be a finishing blow. I mean, it's a blow. It's a long range blow. It's a speed attack. Either way, both of the hits, they hurt. They do some of this, but it's not a finisher. So it's two pretty good attacks, but he's not done. Kaido's not done. And then they finally meet back up. Luffy praises her for holding him down up until this point. And then we get that final page where Kaido's staring down Luffy. It's a boss panel, though, with Luffy on top of Momonosuke and Kaido facing him. It's interesting. Momonosuke only opens his eyes when he finally realizes he's face to face with Kaido, which showed that the kid has balls. You know what I'm saying? He's afraid of heights, but he ain't afraid of Kaido. This is the fight that this is avenging his pops. So this is serious business. So we finally get him in serious mode again. I doubt that he's offensively going to be able to be of that much use because I don't know if he knows how to use any attack against Kaido. So this is strictly a Luffy Yamato type deal, and eventually a Luffy, I guess, back to a one-on-one with Kaido. Anyway, but he's basically tells him, declare yourself, you know what I'm saying? And Luffy, he kicks his usual line, I'm the man who's going to be king of the pirates, and then my man Momo, he balls up and is like, I'm Kazuki Momonosuke, the man who will be Shogun of Wano. Props to that kid. I respect that. And that's where we lead off. And of course, Kaido, rebuts that, there's no need for two dragons in this world. So he's going to eliminate one of them. whatever. But again, this is about Kaido. I can't wait for his backstory because it's got to be about the ogres. It's got to be about how he was betrayed. It might go back to Rocks. It might, who knows what all this is about. But he seems to think that ogres and humans can't be friends, which might be double dipping on the fishmen and humans things. I don't know. But it seems to me he's projecting, when he's fighting Yamato and telling her all of his philosophy, he's projecting his own experiences on her and trying to convince her that this is the way things have to be. Again, not trying to kill her despite all that nonsense he was talking about, I'll kill you or whatever. So that's it. That's my impression. It's a real good chapter in an interesting type of way. And it's a good chapter anyway, but to me, that's what this speaks of. This is about his history, which we will get into a bit later, I guess. So there's no chapter next week. We'll come up with some filler content or whatever. But I'm anxious to see what's up with Kaido and his backstory. So that's it from the manga corner. Let me know what you think. Do you think that there's a race of ogres out there that we don't know about and we're finally going to learn about? Let me know. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed the chapter. Hope you enjoyed the review. Until next time, stay loose.